Let's get into more lefties with my next guest, comedian and host of Primetime with Alex Stein on Blaze TV. Alex Stein. Alex, the UFC event had everything. I cannot believe the cultural shift it represents. The past 24 hours, you can feel it, even as far away as here in Australia. This is different to 2016. It's different to Trump's entire presidency. There are people coming out boldly, proudly, who perhaps a few years ago would have been too frightened to do so.
Well, you know, Rita, they always call Donald Trump the populist candidate, but it's now more evident than ever. I mean, it's just so obvious that he truly is the populist candidate, and people that, you know, might have politically normally been considered liberal, they're all on the Trump train now. You wear your MAGA hat comfortably and proud in any city, you know, from New York to California. And I think you can tell by the response that he got at UFC in Madison Square Garden that it's not just a few areas of the country that love Donald Trump. It's the entire country that supports Donald Trump. Now,
here's the greatest UFC fighter ever in the eyes of many UFC fans, Jon Jones, and this is immediately after his big win.
He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump dance. Spinning back.
And here he is in the post-match interview with Joe Rogan.
I also want to say a big, big thank you to President Donald Trump for being here tonight.
USA! USA! Let's go!
That's what I like. I'm proud to be a great American champion. I'm proud to be a Christian American champion.
Now, Alex, I know the UFC isn't representative of all of America. It is in New York, but the UFC crowd tend to be conservative. But again, you are seeing footballers from the NFL to college football doing the Trump dance proudly. You've got people seemingly more open to saying proudly, I'm Christian, I'm proud of my country, I'm proud of my religion. Do you feel that change is real and significant?
yeah, it is real and significant, but it's even more significant if you just want to fight and won $25 million. You're definitely excited to see Donald Trump there because maybe you have to pay a little less taxes too. So, you know, God bless Donald Trump and all the NFL players that are doing the Donald Trump YMCA dance because, you know, Donald Trump is a cultural phenomenon. And what's the saying? You know, everything kind of runs downstream. Culture runs downstream of politics. So Donald Trump is a cultural phenomenon. Everybody's following his lead. And I would be doing, if I just won $25 million and I saw Donald Trump, I would be dancing and happy too that I get to keep more of it instead of giving it all to Kamala Harris so she can become more in debt with our money.
Well, talking about big paydays, the Tyson fight proved to be a massive fizzer. There were all sorts of technical issues with the feed. People were complaining about that. Mike Tyson looked nothing like the ferocious champion we've seen training in recent months. Let's have a look at him training. Where was that, Mike? Alex, you were there. You spoke to people who attended the fight, and almost all of them had doubts about what really happened.
We just asked everybody walking out if they thought the fight was rigged, and I think you know their answers. Check them out.
Rigged. Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis.
It was scripted. It's all good though.
I could have fought him better than that.
Don't brother. I'm telling you, it was honestly.
Dude, I've seen more interesting paint dry. More interesting paint.
You come from Australia for this.
So you think it was rigged?
You damn right. Tell him mouth traffic.
Rape?
Rigged.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I don't know if it was rigged, but I think it was a scrimmage.
What do you think it was rigged?
Yes. I thought yeah, it was rigged. Tyson. I did not like the fight. The fight was lame. I wasted my money. They really did it for the money.
A lot of blue language there. A lot of people are upset, spent a lot of money. A couple of Australians there who were particularly Well, yeah, they were using a lot of colourful language we can't be having on this program. But Alex, what really happened there? There are so many conspiracy theories now, and like the fans you spoke to, most people think there was something not kosher about this fight.
You know, Rita, obviously I was at the fight, and the first two undercards, the Ramos fight and then the Serrano versus Katie Taylor fight, were absolutely incredible. You know, both of those fights, all the boxers, they left it all out there in the ring. But this fight with Mike Tyson, the first round was okay. Tyson had a little energy, but I'm telling you, every single person in that crowd wanted Tyson to win. It did not matter who they were, their age, everybody wanted Tyson to win. And to see him go out there and just not have the stamina, it was obvious that it was scripted because, you know, Jake's not the type of fighter Mike Tyson ever was in his prime, but Jake took it easy on him. It was very obvious. And that's why we all felt like we got duped, because people were paying thousands and thousands of dollars to go to this event expecting a real fight, or at least a full effort from Mike. But Iron Mike's 58, and this was 100% sports entertainment, WWE, and not traditional boxing like we wanted.
One of the theories that I liked was that Jake Paul has always idolized Mike Tyson. It was his hero growing up, and heard that perhaps Mike Tyson could do with a big payday, and that's why he participated in this whole thing. And because people were saying, I don't know how good Jake Paul is, but they were saying he was taking it easy. He could have finished off Mike much earlier, but he was just making sure he got a points victory as opposed to knocking him out. I don't know boxing that much, but the whole thing looks a bit fishy to me. And I wanted to bring to your attention this piece from the New York Times. The leftist media is just not coping with reality at all at the moment. Look at this attempted takedown of RFK Jr. The New York Times reports that Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many ingredients. Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients? And you go to Canada and it has 2 or 3, Mr. Kennedy asked. And then he goes on to say he was wrong on the ingredient count. They are roughly the same, but the Canadian version does have natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the US product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, and blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxytoluene, or BHT, a lab-made chemical that is used for freshness according to the ingredient label. Why would do they just expect their readers to read the headline and not actually read the detail of the piece? Because they just proved RFK right. Why is a product sold in Canada that is the same product, way more healthy in Canada compared to what the US consumer is receiving?
And Rita, it's not just Fruit Loops. There's so many American products that would be outlawed in Europe and your country and a lot of other countries that they just feed us here in America because there's no regulation. And, you know, of course, the companies are worried about that, but they can still sell these products in other countries without putting all these ingredients in them and make money. So they could do that here in America. But they're really worried about RFK is because he's going after big pharma. He's going after these industries that are just able to operate without any, repercussions of their actions. You know, here in America, our media is basically subsidized by advertising from these pharmaceutical companies, but in other countries, they don't have pharmaceutical ads. But when you turn on our TV, every single thing is a pharmaceutical ad. So that's why people are worried is that our whole entire mainstream media is bought by big pharma. And so they talk about the Fruit Loops because that'll get people's attention, but really they're worried about much bigger issues that RFK is potentially going to fix.
There was a lot of debate about that famous picture now that has been posted on President Trump's plane with McDonald's being served to the gang, including RFK, who looks very uncomfortable having to consume McDonald's. But you know what? McDonald's is fine. It's just that you shouldn't be having it every day. And perhaps they could be using, beef tallow instead of seed oils like they used to do. That would be something RFK can talk to them about. I want to bring you this clip from Vivek Ramaswamy. He and Elon Musk have been charged with draining the swamp and saving the American people billions by heading up Trump's Department of Government Efficiency. Let's have a listen to how he is going to do it.
The dirty little secret right now, Maria, is the people we elect to run the government, they're not the ones who actually run the government. It's the unelected bureaucrats in the administrative state. That was created through executive action. It's going to be fixed through executive action. Think about the Supreme Court's environment over the last several years. They've held that many of those regulations are unconstitutional at a large scale. Rescind those regulations, pull those regs back, and then that gives us the industrial logic to then downsize the size of that administrative state. And the beauty of all of this is that can be achieved just through executive action without Congress. Score some early wins, and then you look at those bigger portions of the federal budget that need to be addressed one by one. So I think that's one way to think about this is how can the President of the United States, who's been elected with a historic mandate, actually do the thing that the voters have voted for. They haven't voted for incremental change here this time, Maria. We have voted for sweeping change, and the voters actually deserve to get it.
Sweeping change is what the people voted for. Can Vivek and Elon deliver that? Their task is enormous.
You know, they do have a big task with the Department of Government Efficiency, but they can do a lot of stuff by cutting budgets to NASA. NASA's complaining that they're mad that a lot of their budget went to DEI training, you know, and you look at the Pentagon, they have their latest audit. It's like they have $800 billion unaccounted for. So, you know, there's a lot of places where they can find money. So this Government Efficiency Department is going to be awesome now that they're running it. If they actually slash a lot of these slush funds that the government can just spend money unaccounted for. And, you know, Vivek is right. All these unelected bureaucrats are basically running things. So hopefully Donald Trump's appointees can go in there and shut these guys down as soon as possible.
Alex Stein, thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita. Always a pleasure.